Here's what you should know about what's at stake. Why is it a problem for the census to ask about each individual's citizenship status? The U.S. Constitution requires the census, every 10 years, to count each and every individual in the country, regardless of age, race, gender, ethnicity, or citizenship status. Census professionals agree that a citizenship question will significantly reduce census participation, both by citizens and non-citizens. As former Census Bureau directors recently explained to the U.S. Supreme Court, adding the citizenship question will create a chilling effect on participation by raising privacy concerns and stoking the fears of undocumented individuals that their responses may be used against them. Census professionals currently employed at the Bureau have already reported that a heightened environment of suspicion and fear is complicating their work in the field preparing for the census, even before a citizenship question has been added to their questionnaires. Under these circumstances, if the citizenship question remains, the resulting population counts that we all rely on will be wrong. Why should you care about an accurate census? What should you make of Secretary Ross' claim that the citizenship question will have little impact? Ross is an outlier in his belief that a citizenship question will not have a big impact on census participation. In explaining his decision, he acknowledged that the Census Bureau itself and other key stakeholders objected to the addition of a citizenship question because they believed it would depress participation in the census. Their belief was based on several empirical analyses, as well as on decades of experience by professionals administering and supporting the census. Nonetheless, Ross did not heed their advice, claiming that there is no definitive empirical support for their belief, an unusually high standard. The basis for Ross' claim that the citizenship question will not impact participation after all? A conversation he had with a television polling firm executive. Needless to say, there is very little in common between the census, the largest government data collection operation, and a short television consumer survey. Is citizenship information necessary to enforce our civil rights laws? Rather than improving upon the data relating to non-citizens, civil rights litigators generally believe that adding a citizenship question will lead to less accurate data about the number of non-citizens and citizens alike. So, what's the real reason for asking for people's citizenship status? While we can't see into the minds of the people who pushed for the citizenship question, unsavory political motives might be in play. Can the federal government use information collected from the census to pursue immigration actions? No. The law is crystal clear: the Census Bureau cannot share personal information with other agencies, that information cannot be used for any purpose other than statistical ones, and it cannot be used to harm the people who provide that information. Congress has long understood that the privacy and confidentiality of the information that census participants provide to the government is absolutely essential to ensuring everyone participates confidently and fully in the census. So, in the Census Act, Congress included the strongest privacy and confidentiality protections that exist in federal law. Employees of the Census Bureau are prohibited from sharing the personal information that they collect with anyone outside the Bureau, even with the employees of other federal agencies. And even when personal information stays inside the Census Bureau, the Bureau's employees can only use it to create statistical products that contain no information that can be traced back to an individual personally. There are severe criminal penalties to back these rules up, including a fine of up to $5,000 or 5 years of jail time for violating the Census Act. Even in the face of these protections, some people will be reluctant to participate in the census, either because they are unfamiliar with their rights and what the census is all about, or because they do not trust the government to follow the law, especially under an administration that regularly makes headlines with anti-immigrant words and actions. Public education about these rights, and strong reassurances by the administration that it will abide by its legal obligations, will be necessary to counteract this pressure. Can anything be done to block the citizenship question, or is this a done deal? Even if we reach Census Day with a citizenship question on the form, the administration will need to work to alleviate concerns that people's responses will be used against them. Among other things, the administration should publicly commit to uphold the Census Act's basic privacy and confidentiality protections, instruct federal agencies including the Department of Homeland Security to pledge not to request or use census data for their own operations and to suspend immigration enforcement actions during census time to ensure that people can answer their doors to census takers without fear. Wendy Weiser is the director of the Democracy Program at the Brennan Center for Justice at NYU School of Law. Thomas Wolfe is counsel with the Democracy Program, focusing on redistricting issues.